What's up, guys? Today I'm going to do a video about a group that I've been a fan of since, I guess, all the way back to the 80s. And they're slightly obscure, but, they're not really indie, totally obscure. They're on a semi-major label, Select Records, it's kind of quasi-major. They had a dope album, they had a bunch of singles, they had some earlier, more independent singles, they had a bunch of later follow-ups that a lot of heads don't know about. So they're really, totally perfectly suited for my blog/videos. And I'm a huge fan of them. I'm really, impressed by their records. So it's amazing to me that I've actually never gotten to them until just now. But I guess that's just a testament to just how wide the spectrum of dope hip-hop is that it took this long. But here we go. I'm talking about The Chosen Ones. This album is 1989, Select Records, Enter the Lord. The Chosen Ones are just two guys, Lord Shafiq and DJ Doc. Enter the Lord is their sole album, but like I said, they had some independent stuff before that and had stuff later on. Strictly speaking, they didn't have anything before that because Lord Shafiq had solo 12 inches before that album, and they were produced by DJ Doc. So really, essentially, it was The Chosen Ones. And if you're thinking DJ Doc sounds familiar, he absolutely should, because yes, it is that DJ Doc. It's the DJ Doc who got famous earlier for being like Spider D's DJ. He was sort of semi a member of Boogie Down Productions, around that period of like the second and third album was sort of nebulous who just was in and not in the group Boogie Down Productions, when it was definitely more than just KRS and Scott, but then, little undefined. He was definitely, if not an official member, pretty close, because he worked on a couple of their albums, some of their big singles, as well as like the side projects like Stop the Violence and all that. And he's just produced and engineered and mixed for like so many guys, from like Antoinette to Sparky D, just so many artists, classic New York hip-hop. He's one of those guys who's almost sort of like Paul C. or Herb Powers, where you start to realize, like, wow, this guy's name is on so many dope records. But The Chosen Ones is really his, like, official group. He is one of the two Chosen Ones. He's not affiliated with them. He is one of them. And this is his group. But he's just basically the DJ, and Lord Shafiq is the MC. There's a reason why I've got this album on cassette. This is actually pretty rare and hard to find. Not that it was so rare at the time. Select Records was a semi-major release. You could have gotten at the mall at any point in 1989. But it's become collectible because it's got several bonus tracks that are not on the LP. 4, in fact. 3 of which, though, honestly, maybe not so essential. Not because they're not dope. In fact, those bonus tracks might be the best tracks on the album, or at least a couple of them. My Mic is on Fire, probably the best track of the album, of the singles, of their whole career, probably. But some other tracks that are just on this album, like You've Got the Key, which was in fact a single later on, is just as strong. It's another killer track. So I'm going to play some clips. It's going to blow your mind. But anyway, so there's 4 bonus tracks on this, but 3 of those were the Lord Shafiq earlier 12 inches. Cool Cat, My Mic is on Fire, Rhymes on the Mind. All of those were on 12 inches in 87, 88. Those are the ones I mentioned. So Lord Shafiq solo, but produced by DJ Doc before they officially signed as the Chosen Ones with Select Records. And that's why they're bonus tracks, because, they weren't recorded for the album. They're not really the album, but heads who are getting the cassette, who wouldn't have been down with vinyl and stuff, never would have heard these early tracks, so they, put them on there on the cassette. Plus, there's a new exclusive track for this cassette called Make It Better, which wasn't on any of the singles before or since. It's only on the cassette, so that does make this still pretty desirable. Plus, it's just better to have the album with all the songs, and again, those are classic, great songs. So if you're not a hardcore going to track down all the 12 inches and get, like, My Mic is on Fire, then you do definitely want the cassette version. So yeah, so like this here is one of Lord Shafiq's early singles, My Mic is on Fire. Again, classic. Actually, if you remember when I was on the radio on WFMU, Coffee Break Your Heroes and Villains, when I got to play all the records, I got to pick the whole track list. I bought all my records over there. This is definitely one I played. So like I said, I'm a huge fan of these guys forever. It's just the first time I'm talking about them. This is definitely one of the songs I'm going to play a clip of. And then they had a couple official singles on Select Records. This is Robo Doc, which is pretty cool. Obviously, more all about DJ Doc, and it's got some funky samples to it, but I think their second single, The Chosen, You've Got the Key, is even better. But both of these singles don't really have, there's a couple like alternate mixes, but there's no real remixes with new beats or anything like that. They're just like one slightly extended, one slightly edited down, there's a dub mix and all that kind of stuff. So, not necessarily real essential if you got the album, but still kind of cool to have for collectors and stuff. Really, the album is what you need. And that was it, unfortunately, for The Chosen Ones as a group. Probably their kind of semi-quasi 5%er kind of stuff definitely threw mainstream audiences off, so they never really blew up. Select Records wasn't going to do a second album or anything. But DJ Doc, of course, as a producer and everything, went on tons and tons and tons of projects. He even had like 1 or 2 records of his own. They're more like mixed records and stuff. But basically, he's producing for other guys and, like I said, Boogie Down Productions, and went on. And Lord Shafiq actually, surprisingly, had several independent CDs in the 90s and even the 2000s, including an album called My Mic Is Still on Fire, which is super rare and pretty obscure because by now, like, it's much later than the Chosen Ones, but it's pretty old, like maybe 10 years, and that's the kind of stuff that, unfortunately, because it's not a vinyl or anything, the music world hasn't really preserved. So if you find one of those, hang on to it, because it's pretty interesting stuff. Probably not as good as the Chosen Ones classic 1989 Enter the Lord album, but still definitely worthwhile. Lord Shafiq still had some fire in him, but really, Enter the Lord is what it's all about. And no more ado, let's just hear some clips. I'm going to play a couple of the hottest joints from Enter the Lord. You're going to hear it right away. The guy kind of, his style and his voice kind of reminds me of Nyborn. You know, he's down with the Busy Boys and stuff like that, but also pretty, you know, definitely got his own thing going on. Sounds great. Production by DJ Doc is always strong. And it's an interesting mix. A couple tracks really sort of sound tailor-made for Lord Shafiq, and then other ones almost sound like kind of the stuff that you wouldn't even expect to hear him on, but he really makes it work. So let's go. Enter the Lord. Some clips right now. The Chosen Ones.
Flame on!
It is no coincidence that when I came on and spoke into my mic dome, I said flame on. And arsonist calls this a wish, but his name is Great Dome Triumphant. You can't hold this. He went to war with the hammer of Thor. Now it's a monument hanging on my wall, but you insist to shoot joints to prove a point, but it's nothing new. Because the joints that you threw, I knew it, sweet. It's like an episode. It repeats and repeats. You threw a jab, I grab your wrist. Kiss your fist, threw it back in your face. A total diss, but you're still engaged to what I put on page. Now my mic wants a divorce. It's on a rampage. Singing a lullaby that's so fly. Removes the ring around your finger, place it around your eye. Command my mic to play dead until a knucklehead angers me. So instead of getting trifed like a mortal with a Ginsu knife, I'd rather bring my mic to life. My mic is on fire. Cool cat, it's a simple phrase describing one's actions or his ways. I'm a cool cat, and since you knew that, then it's only right for me to get into that topic. Hold up, stop it. About 5 times, take your fingers and pop it. Yo, for those who have ears, let them listen. Those who ain't down with the program, step to the rear, cause the chosen ones are here. We shun those who don't like to have fun, so be proud and join the chorus, cause the chorus is definitely kicking like Chuck Norris. I love the sound of a finger snap. It's an expression made by those called the cool cats. So if you're cool, let your fingers pop. But if you're clapping or yapping, I guess you're not. It's cool or even close to being K-O-O-L. That means cool for those that can't spell. I went to Cooley Howard High School of Cooley. That accounts for me running things so smoothly. How smooth? So smooth, not slimy, but it's smooth as the skin on an infant's hiney. Is that smooth enough for you, son doula? Cause if not, I could get much smoother and cooler. So take heed, cause you just might freeze for not understanding wise words like these. For 7 long years, I made attempts to put the words on wax. But on the strength, every time I rock around to let the knowledge be felt, and the end being so hot, the wax kept melting. Give it up, get up, let's roll with the king. Ain't nothing's changed, this is the same routine as I intervene between you and your destiny. I'm blessed with the mic that's next to me. Born for mine in due time, I say a rhyme to make me climb and climb until I'm at my prime. Secondary to none, the Lord is in effect, and I've only begun to shine like the sun, cause it's only right. My woman's the moon, she reflects my sunlight, and she's brightly sparked, so I got to be lighting up the industry with a style to be recognized by those that are wise. Large is my brain size, and do I despise the lies of MCs? Popping corn, you dry, you're about to get buttered on. You kept on me, slept on me, wept on me. Now it's left on me to take control of what I created, updated, you played it, and no one can say it. Ain't lyrically equipped to make my money flip. Don't need a half step, cause I skip right along to the bank. Cause I'm ranked #1, so I give thanks to my fans only, none to a pedestrian who don't impress me or interest me in the slightest bit. If you feel you can take one, male or female, come and get some. Come and get some. Years ago, during the Afro trend, when bell bottoms, AJs, and overlaps were man's best friend, there was this kid named Ivan, the portal rock from the block. Years to come, he would be named Robo-Doc. This is a thing dedicated to the man upon the scene. Now the story goes as follows. At the age of 13, he was keen, he was mean. No one dared intervene in between him and his dream, which was to rock. Know what I mean? The record he couldn't afford, he stole it. On his coat jacket, he'd hold it. Punch those in the nose that told it. When they found the record was gone, they thought they sold it. Yo, that's how swift he was. Played it first on a phonograph before he spinned it in the clubs. And hyped up in the club is what you get to make the beat fit. He loop it, hit you swift like an arrow from Cupid. Once completed, Doc would say, "See you, stupid." His name is Robo-Doc. I call the brother Robo-Doc.
This is the urban South. This is the urban South. It's got the urban South. This is the urban South. It's got the urban South. This is the urban South. It's got the urban South.
Like Genesis, so is this the beginning, the alpha of a trend that I'm sending into the metro. Now the brothers are petro, grabbing a girl saying Shafiq's here, let's go. Because you're soft like a roll of white cloud. It's time to speak, punk, don't speak so loud. You're as humble as a mumble, resemble a tremble. I'm hitting you hard like a cymbal. I watch poor poets pump poetry to me, purposely projecting that they're fresher than me. It's time to break them as if they were glass. Or should I put them in a chamber so they can be gassed? My rhymes linger as if they were fumes, and any coon who consume lyrics to this tune is doomed. They're not creative, nor could they create. I bet it's me they hate. Scrape my rhymes like a cassette until they're boys who play with Tonka toys. Keep it quiet as kept, so now I'm like a nucleus, cause I'm always surrounded by other rappers that I left dumbfounded. They see me in the flesh and up to me they run and say, Shafiq the Lord, what planet do you come from? You can't attack me or try to out-rap me, but then again I slept, so you trapped me. Placed me in confinement, made of stone, all because of what flew through my microphone. But do I worry? No, not with rhymes like these. They break stone like cottage cheese. I got the key.